Welcome to the Figure Salon Podcast with Rachel and Drew. I'm Drew.
I'm Rachel.
Welcome to the show. Let's go. Hi, wife.
Hi, husband.
You know how tough it is to get this woman in this studio to talk in this microphone?
And to get off my phone.
Get off the dang phone.
Sorry, been busy.
Same time, though. It's like, it's the logistics of building a business.
Well, and we had to plan this around our landscaping company.
We did.
Okay, so this
Angel.
actually worked out.
Angel.
Yeah.
He's great. He
Yeah,
does a really good job.
Angel's awesome. He's a literal angel, but
I don't know what's going on with my microphone, but I sound crispy today.
yeah.
Sounds. Oh, I did a reset, probably because I didn't jack up all the settings, so I reset it, so it sounds better. Getting too creative.
Yeah.
So we are here. We are healthy. We are excited. Our little baby's a little coughing though. Mm-hmm. Hendrix is coughing all night long. Poor guy.
Yeah. He's working really hard, just trying to, trying to breathe.
Yeah.
So.
I had a little scratch from jiu-jitsu on my arm, and he kept giving me kisses on my little
that's
bubbo.
nice.
Sweet kid.
Yeah, Henny's like prone to respiratory stuff like me. Like if there's anything that'll take me down a notch, it's a respiratory infection. So.
Yeah, we call him hen, like a female, like a chicken.
I'm really sorry about that. It's just
And that's Henny. No, it's
you don't call your kid's name when they're a baby. You
Henny
call them something
Henny
cute,
Boobity, Henny Boobity Bits.
And then like Darby calls him Drexy.
You call him Scooter one day.
I call him Scooter
Like a scooter.
Scoots.
I
I was like, I don't know why I said that. I'm really sorry.
Like, is there another child here I don't know about?
No.
Yeah. So,
It's just like how we have like 10 names for a dog. Anyway.
yeah.
Yep. I feel like when you love somebody, you just have all these, you just love them so much and you have these different names for them. So anyway, what are we talking about today?
We got some events coming up. So there is events happening all the time, and really one of the biggest things that have moved us forward in just entrepreneurialism is just being in the right room with the right people doing the right stuff.
Yep.
You know, so you can get in the wrong room with the wrong people. Maybe not the wrong room, just not the right one. I don't like the word wrong. I like the word, workability, right? So there's particular rooms that are doing certain things, and you just want to make sure you're really efficient with your time, because there is a huge I've been on, and I don't know how else to say it, but a shitload of calls. And oh my gosh, there are people, y'all, if y'all can just be a little bit of, and I say this all the time, but if you can be a little bit of a savage and a little bit of a go-getter, like no matter what, don't get caught. Don't believe your feelings. Don't believe all your feelings. If you can just go, take care of yourself, but just make moves. Just take action, and not be like,
Well, and surround yourself with people that are action takers, because like Drew and I, for example, like we, it's not every day, or, there's some days like Drew's like, I'm tired. I need to rest. I need to, whatever. He'll wake up and he's like, I'm tired. And I'm like, we have like a bunch of shit to do. And I'm like, and then what do I tell you? I'm like, you're not tired, and it's more of like a mindset thing. It's like,
she hits me.
No, I don't.
Yep. She strikes me.
What? Shut up. That's not true. Anyway.
Get the fuck up, you pussy.
No, you should have bleeped that. How dare you?
I'll leave it.
Don't. Our kids are in private school.
They're cool.
Get kicked out because of you.
People are in their cars listening, and they say bad words too.
All right, well.
You actually have a worse mouth than I do. Not today.
I don't say that word. That's a gross word.
It is.
Anyway, what I was gonna say is that if you have a partner, or maybe it's your manager, maybe it's your like other stylists or whatever, like whoever you're doing life with, right? Business life, regular life, and let's say you're not feeling like a go-getter that day, or you wake up, maybe you did have a shit night's sleep, like maybe your baby was up all night coughing or whatever, like me and him. It's like
in your face.
Yeah, in my face. I'm like, great. Now I feel like my throat's a little sore. So, this is going on. Well, if you have another person, like for example, if Drew's like, I'm tired, whatever, and I'm like,
pause. I don't sound like that.
Oh, you guys know that we all have like the same voice.
The
for
husband
our
voice.
husbands. Yeah.
When I talk like my husband talk, like no dude I've ever met talks like this.
Well, sometimes like
It's rude.
So it's just anyway. You sound like the guy on the Goonies, like the guy with one eye on the Goonies. Like I don't know why we all do that with that's our husband voice.
Yeah,
None
like
of
we
them
sound
talk
like
that.
Sylvester Stallone hammered.
Anyway, y'all know what we're talking about. And I would imagine you're a woman listening to this. Most of our audience is women. So
No,
sorry.
I got my bros are out there. They're out there.
Yeah, but most of them are women. So anyway, if Drew was saying that, right, and he's like, I'm tired, I'm this, I'm that, I didn't get a good night's sleep, I'm gonna have to cancel the day, blah blah blah, and I'm like, yeah, you should do that. You should like I'm just maybe to some of you that might sound supportive, and others, and maybe it's what he wants to hear. But as a good partner, right, and a business partner and a wife, I'm going to be like, no, like, we can do this. You know what I mean? Like, you can do this. We can do this. And so, like, being able to have somebody or a bunch of somebodies that can be that person for you is super important because, again, we talk to a lot of people, and there is a fucking clear line in the sand of the people that are doing shit, like, and the people that are just sitting there with their thumb up their butt, not doing anything. I mean, it's just like, there is no, like, guys, the gap gets wider and wider and wider between the people doing things and people not doing things. And even if you're like if you're not doing things, right, like, just be in reality and like, yeah, like, I'm just good. I'm just content. I'm happy with where I'm at. Right. But when you are, it's almost like we feel like we have to, as leaders and owners of businesses, like, we have to pretend and say that we want to grow, we want to do things, but really we have absolutely no intention at all of doing it, right? Mm-hmm. And people do this in all kinds of other areas of their life when it comes to their fitness, their health, or this, or that. Like, there's people who are like, yeah, like, I need to eat right, I need to do this, or I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and they literally don't do shit. So I have more respect for the person who is obese, getting to the gym, doing the thing, than somebody who is maybe, lean or skinny or whatever, on the couch eating junk food, doing nothing. So at least the other person's trying.
Yeah, you gotta get off. There's a saying, you gotta pick which side of the fence, and don't ride the fence because it's gonna hurt. It's painful riding the fence.
Sounds like it hurts.
And it's like, am I going to move forward, or am I going to not move forward?
That's okay.
And if you're not going to move forward with, and I'm not. This isn't I'm not throwing shade on. If I've had a call with you and you didn't move forward with us, that's not what I'm saying.
Oh, it's nothing in life.
All
in general.
good in general, right? There is a trap, and we all fall into it. So if you're going to do something, freaking do it. If you're not going to do something, don't do it. And you will save yourself a ton of heartache and pain and a lot of anguish. A lot of the anguish and depression is like when you're trying to pretend to be someone that you're not, meaning like you are pretending you're going to go for X dream, but you're really not. So if you're going to go for it, I say go for something. I was just watching this video, this street interview, which I love these street interviews with these successful people. This guy, he buys hotels. He owns like 70 hotels. And the main thing that his biggest takeaway, the thing that he has up on people is he could identify opportunity when a lot of people could not. And how to leverage finance, of course, when you're buying up big stuff like that. But it's you got to keep moving. You can get off the fence, with whatever it is you're doing. You're building that salon. You need to go, what?
I just had a very vivid picture of my grandpa or my papa saying something, and I kind of want to share it.
Go for it. Well, you gotta share it now.
It's like, shit or get off the pot. That's what my grandpa used to say, or still says. Like, Papa, you guys, if you've been to our events, you've met Papa. Come on, and we should bring him to Nashville. Actually,
you should bring him in here.
He just you guys, that would be a long podcast.
We gotta time it.
Land the plane, Gordon.
Papacito. We gotta wrap it up.
But really, shit or get off the pot when it comes to anything in life. Like, it's extremely important. It's
liberating when you really make that decision.
It becomes addicting, honestly. Like, you being able to make decisions and like move past things. Like, and all it takes is one or two decisions being made for you to like get back in the groove of actually making decisions. And it's so easy to fall off the wagon and stay off the wagon. And then before you know it, you don't even know where the fuck your wagon's at,
Or you
lost your keys to your wagon. I mean, you're just like, I don't even, I mean.
There's a great book called The Four Quadrants by Stephen Covey. Stephen Covey he's an amazing author. And I think he passed away on a bicycle, which is really sad. But brilliant. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That is a book. Some of you know what I'm talking about. My readers out there. Hey, he's got a book called 4 Quadrants. It's not as beefy as the other book, which is great. That book, like 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, or 70 Habits. Oh my gosh, I'm messing up the title. That book, you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember driving and having to pull over because that book had so many bombs in it. Just like I'd have to pull over. Like, oh my gosh. But the 4 quadrants are a big one. It's you have things that are urgent and you have things that are important, urgent and important, which is like when we're taking care of our clients and there's a need of a fulfillment of an order of some sort that's urgent and important. We need to do that.
That's what I'm doing right now. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of things that are important but not urgent. And this is a lot of where I live. I have calls all day, but like doing this podcast is not urgent. It is very important. So it got a different vibe, and me and Rachel work really well together, and we both make sure that we get both of these things done. That way we're moving forward on the urgent and important things and the non-urgent and important things. And then you have unimportant and not urgent, all that stuff. That's when when you go out and screw off. You go out and get hammered and you're spending too much time on the urgent, important stuff, like the now, like a full book of clients, go. And then you go to quadrant 4, where if you were me, I went out and got drunk. I don't drink anymore. But I wasn't fulfilled in what I was doing because I own gyms and I was doing classes. And man, if you've ever coached a class on weightlifting to 40 people, talk about exhaustion in the heat in Texas for 8 years.
Doesn't sound fun.
Like work, but working harder is important, but you want to make sure that you're working on the right things and you're in the right rooms with the right people, because if hard work and laborious effort was the key to success, then ditch diggers would be the richest people in the world. And if you ever dug a hole, it's hard.
Sucks.
Mm-hmm. That sometimes I have the boys dig a hole in the backyard. they'll be bad, and they have to go dig a hole. And they have to show me the hole, and then they have to fill it back up.
Well, a lot of times they'll cool off out there too. Like if they're like,
there's a pool.
They got pissed off at each other. They weren't respectful to one another, and like get out there with a shovel and dig a hole. Calm down. Yeah.
But a funny thing though, they're like, but they enjoy it. Like once they start going, they like
Especially Evan.
Yeah, they get into. I'm like, look at them out there, just
laser focused on what he's doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason that we bring this up, the reason that we bring up the decision making thing, and we talk about this often with you guys. We talk about people like being decisive versus indecisive, being on the fence or off the fence, not on the fence.
Don't straddle that fence.
That just sounds painful. Think about it. Visualize that. Ow. So I don't care if you're a guy or a girl, like that freaking hurts. So
I got kneed there in jiu-jitsu this morning. We don't have to go any more detail.
This morning?
For a bit. Yeah, I was waiting on you. I thought you were getting sushi.
I was not getting sushi. I don't know what my location was for you. I was trying to go get a meal at Fit Kitchen. They freaking closed their doors. I was so upset. I thought they closed their doors for good. And then I looked them up on Instagram and I realized, they just moved away. So they have a different location now. I was like, thank God. 'Cause I'm like, not another favorite business of mine that closed their doors. It's so damn hard these days.
Place.
Yeah, your smoothie place closed. They closed their doors.
Inflation's a mother effer.
Yeah, it is. But the reason we bring all this stuff up is because we're not going to sit here and be your rah-rah cheerleader, coaches, rub your crystals, ladies, and it'll happen for you. It's not going to happen for you, okay? You have to work hard. You have to do the work. Nobody's going to do it for you. People will do it with you, but they're not going to do it for you. You have to participate in your own success story. It is not just this person or that person. I mean, there's been we've even met people that have, let's say, wanted to do a coaching program with us who have just like bounced from coach to coach to coach to coach to coach. And I'm like, okay, at some point, is it the coaches or is it you? Like, is it like the expectation versus like the reality? It's important that you participate in your own success story and rescue. Sometimes it's a rescue, you have to participate. But most importantly, when we talk about the rooms that you want to put yourself in, right? Now, a room is kind of doesn't have to be like a physical room. It could be like, okay, you're like the stuff that you're consuming, like the places you're spending your time, and who you're, who's in your earbud, right? Like us right now, you're in the car driving, your kids are screaming in the back seat, I don't know, and you're listening to this. I hope your kids aren't listening to this episode.
Rated R.
Sorry for anyway. So, but like, who are you giving your time to? Who are you giving your ear to? Who are you spending your time with? And there are, and one thing that I think of specifically when I think about education in our industry that is in person, a lot of it is like total crap, in my opinion. Like, I can't tell you guys how many thousands and thousands of dollars in flights and hotels and food and closing the salon and all this crap to go to these events. And there's been so many disappointed plane rides home where I'm like, why the hell did I sit here and close my salon, pay for everyone's flights, take everyone to dinner, invest in this freaking educational event, only to be massively disappointed and feel embarrassed. Like, I can't even believe I exposed my team to this crap. Like, so as an owner, I've had a lot of bad investments over the years, like we opened the salon in 2016, reopened in 2017. And there's been a lot of lessons learned. I mean, I have eaten shit sandwiches every year in business. Sorry, but it's hard. Like, literally feeling like you just like face planted the concrete on a regular basis. I mean, that is what it feels like the first few years in business. And there's certainly regrets I have and things I wish I didn't do or didn't invest in or people I wish I didn't hire. But you know what? I'm also, on the other end of it, extremely glad that I did go through all of those things, because a great room when you enter one, a great coach when you meet one, a great podcast when you hear one. And if you didn't have such a contrasting side by side, you wouldn't know. You know what I mean? So and I certainly wouldn't be able to recognize rooms that we have been a part of to know if this is the right room or this is a waste of time room for us, So
yeah. Well, you have a lot of people out there that are you got to careful too, because you have a lot, and a lot of people are very good at it because of the ability to create content like this. There are a lot of people that are coaching and teaching on theory out there. They haven't actually done what they're teaching, and it's crazy. Or they are presenting themselves at a certain level, and they're not. I had a very interesting conversation yesterday. I won't say any names or companies, but this guy, he's become my friend. It's hilarious, and I chat with him from time to time, and we always talk longer than we're supposed to because he's got a bunch of calls a day. I got tons of calls.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and he's probably the most liquid person we know, but you wouldn't
that guy. Okay.
You wouldn't think it, and so and he knows a lot about people just based on what he does. He knows the numbers of a lot of people, and he'd be like, you would be shocked to know at what level some of these people are. So you got to be careful. You got to be careful out there who you're getting advice from, and you want to make sure that it is current and it is real, because a lot of the stuff that people are teaching out there is theory based. It's not tangible, pragmatic business solutions for salons or whatever it is that you're into. Real estate, there's stuff, there's roofing, there's all kinds of stuff, So make sure that when you're listening to people, they physically have done what you want to do. Not like, oh, my Uncle Jeff does CPA for this cleaning service and he knows how to build salons, because he saw one once. It's not the same. Business is a process, and business is a science, and science is a process. That's correct. But there is a lot of invisible things, like with even, here I go with my jiu-jitsu stuff again, but I'll learn something, and you don't learn until you do. Mm-hmm. And when you do it, there's all these invisible things that the guy that I learned jiu-jitsu from, his name's Fatty, and Fadi, that's his real name. And
poor guy. He's great, though.
He's hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get him to do a 72-hour fast because he's wanting to cut. And like, just 72-hour water fast. You just get it done. Done deal. That would be gnarly, but like, apparently it's not that bad.
It's like, when to start.
Yeah. Have you seen Dana White's before and after on his?
No.
It's crazy.
I might wither away.
I would wither away. I'd turn to a spoon.
Drew gets hangry.
I do. Not on a fast though. I get upset if I don't get to go be physical. I need it. What is your biggest? I'll tell mine first. But what is your biggest regret in business? Mine was.
Let me ask you a question, but I'm going to answer a road question before I let you
Well,
answer
I'm trying to clear the water for you. I'm trying to make it more comfortable for you.
Clear it up. Go ahead.
Yeah. So.
This is all unscripted, by the way.
That's funny.
I have no idea what the hell he's going to
I just asked her a question and I'm going to answer it. It's great. You want me to go first?
Day in the life. No, you go ahead.
Okay.
Because you'll forget it if you don't say it. Go ahead.
Not true. Maybe. So I will. I expanded too soon. So my first business was a gym.
That was on my list of things to talk about today.
Well, it was. I got a really good deal on a sick building. Sound familiar? And
it's meant to be. Oh
yeah.
My gosh.
My landlord. His name was David at my first place. I will say it. He is a piece of shit. He was horrible. He was so mean. And I was such a new business owner.
Did you pay him though?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've never not paid.
On time?
I've never not paid stuff.
On time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And yeah, and he was just a dick. I remember looking at the building. We were in there for like maybe 5 minutes, and he's like twirling his keys, like, "Hurry up, man! I gotta get out of here. I got
Next."
Yeah. I'm like, what? And this is like a big life-changing moment for me. But we had my first gym was like 2,800 square feet. It was kind of a funky shape, but I redid the whole thing. We rebuilt and we really made it great. And it was profitable after year one. So I had built a profitable business from nothing to profitable to making a living in a year. And then I wanted to expand. And then I wanted to do more. And then I wanted to go buy a bunch of stuff that I thought was going to build my business, but I lost track of the thing that built my business, which was being with people and serving people. I got caught up in gear and buying machines and weights and going, and it wasn't the thing that grew us. What got us to this really great place our first year, real quick too, was just that, just being there, being present, being with people, having them have a great experience. I was like, that's it. And then lo and behold, around the corner, this big, beautiful building. And I would dream about I had this dream that I wanted, this all black warehouse with all this equipment and state of the art. And then I see the building that could be that. And I was paying $1,800 a month for rent. Yeah. And then this next one was $4,800 a month. But it was a steal. I had 5, remember those bay doors? Mm-hmm. I had 7 20 by 20 bay. They're huge doors, and they all opened up at the same time. It was amazing. But upon doing that, I had to get more gear. I had to get more flooring. I had to get more cleaning. I had to pay. Everything went up, and I threw myself off. Now, I built that business up. COVID happened. It was cruising, and I sold it. It's still around to this day. But it caused an avalanche of problems for me. Expanding too soon.
I see this all the time. I'm texting Taylor Sellers, okay?
Who's that? I know who it is, but for them.
Oh, Taylor Sellers is one of our clients. Her and her business partner, Jenny, they own an amazing salon called Moss and Main. And because I am a girl's girl, I'm helping her add a couple of last-minute items to her shipment today so that she can see them tomorrow for her client. So, but yeah, it's as far as like my biggest mistake in business was basically taking the worst fucking loan of my life and not reading the fine print and trusting the person that gave me the worst fucking loan of my life.
A friend.
Yeah, a friend. So like assuming that what the person was saying to me was actually the information that was inside and on the dotted and before I signed on the dotted line. That's the thing. So I will say, assuming that the person who I have a close relationship with is not BSing me or misguiding me. That I would say is the worst business decision I've ever made. Mm-hmm. So, and not only was it a bad decision, right? It was like 2 years of misery paying that interest on that business loan. So, yeah. Absolutely horrible. So just stuff for you guys to know, like, we aren't perfect. We've gotten screwed over. We have certainly, like, also aided in our own selves getting screwed over at times by not reading something and rereading something, I should say. We always read stuff, but rereading,
Dummy tax.
asking questions, you know, and not being afraid to challenge the person, even despite who that person is. If you've known them for years, if they've, you know, you've always done business with each other, and like to challenge that particular person on what it is that they're telling you. And also, I would say one other thing is leaving somebody completely in charge of our own payroll. That is also a huge business decision that I regret also. Didn't result in as much misery as like the business loan thing, but certainly, you know, not having a decimal in the right spot, like that fucking sucks. Like if somebody gets that wrong, paying someone for 300 hours instead of 30 hours, that sucks. Like, and then having to go back and
claw it back.
Well, after you've fired that person, realizing what happened after you do an audit within your own stuff,
was a doozy.
This just could have been avoided. So anyway, it's just stuff like that. Like, and that was an honest mistake on her part, you know. And I know that she felt horrible, but at the end of the day, you guys are holding the bag for like all of your employees, all of the decisions they make. You ultimately are the one that pays the price, you know, most times. So just, you know, do the best you can with the people you got, with what you've got. Just do the best you can, you know what I mean? And just make sure that you are dotting your I's and crossing your T's as much as you can, even double dotting and crossing your I's and T's, because you have to, especially in an economy like this, guys, like inflation and just things are so expensive, and the risk is you're risking it for the biscuit a lot of times. And, you know, and as you're growing, if you're aggressively growing and trying to scale, like you're putting everything on the line sometimes. And a lot of times that is, like we put stuff on the line all the time. And a lot of times that's like, you know, that could go left or right, like real fast. So it's just important that you surround yourself with people who are going to shoot it to you straight, people that are going to encourage you and motivate you and call you out on your own BS sometimes. If you're feeling tired or this, or you can't do it, or you're discouraged, or you're anxious. God, I can't tell you how many times a week I hear the word anxiety. I just can't even when it comes to that. So, look, you get to choose how you feel. Right. And your mind is literally the thing that's going to guide you one way or the other. How you feel, okay, physically, emotionally, mentally. I'm not disregarding that you have mental, physical, and emotional feelings that are going to come up. They will. You're a human being. You're meant to feel things, right? We have senses for a reason. You're meant to smell, taste, feel, you know, otherwise you'd be like what? Like a
rock.
Yeah, like nothing. So.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Are you going to say something mean about me?
No. What?
Oh.
What?
I don't know. Sometimes you're
What
like,
is this?
you say
What,
my
putting that on
face is
me?
like I got no
Putting on
expression
me.
on my face. Okay. So, you know what I'm saying? Like if you are meant to feel things, but you've got to keep yourself in check, and or if you don't have the strength to do it, you know, just yet or on a consistent basis, like get yourself a Drew or a Rachel or somebody.
Text me. I'll give you some coaching.
Knuckle sandwich. So
I do that with you a lot. I mean, we do that with each other, but we do.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, I'm glad that like
We're very honest with
one
each
of
other.
us, super honest, which you know can cause problems sometimes. But
Well, it's just because we're in such only problems it causes is our egos, which we need to.
Yeah.
We're always managing, and there's a lot of that, you know, and we are honest with each other, and it's got to be for the greater good of the company, and it's important. So like Rachel and I can't bury or harbor anything long term because it gets on everything, and there's too many things and too many people happening. So pros and cons, like we discuss and button up everything. Maybe not right away. I'm more of a right away kind of
I don't
person.
like to do that
because I don't want to harbor anything because it's painful for me, because I don't want to think about it, and that's all I'll think about.
We could get into a disagreement, and I'll just go work the day away and like Drew doesn't really do that. He's just like, it's like he throws all the work out the window, and that's just like what he's
Go run 10 miles.
dealing with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where I like to kind of cool off, or like, I'm like, you know what? Or sometimes it's like, you need to go cool off. I'm going to go do this over here, and then we can talk about this together later, you know? And it's not because I don't care about talking about it now. I just don't feel like the best outcome is going to come from anybody in an emotional state or whatever. So just like take 15, you know, and let's come back together and let's figure it out.
And that goes, yeah, we're talking marriage, but we're also talking like
no, this is like
partners,
like also business too. Like
People
there's
you work
stuff
with
that
and
we
things like that.
don't agree on as business partners sometimes. Like there's certain things like, you know, details that maybe like they just get lost in translation sometimes, or maybe he's reading a text really fast and is kind of like just skimming through it, and he's like, wait, no, like I don't want to do it that way. And I'm like, you missed the part where we talked about it being this way. Like, oh, you know, like yesterday, I was like, I'm talking about the box part, not talking about the mentorship part, you know? So
Yeah.
Anyway, that like a lot, sometimes too, it's like just miscommunication or something getting lost in translation.
And you have to stay open. You know, you don't close out, because be open. Because if you're not open, you're arrogant and you think you know everything. And if you think you know everything, you're dumb, right? So being open will allow you to learn. And a lot of times your spouse, husband, wife can teach you something, even if they don't know as much as you know about a particular thing. Even if you're a person in business that's new, teaches you something, and you've been in business for 8 years, and they've been in business for 1 year, and you have a bigger location and all this and that, like still be open. There's still wisdom there, and you don't know it all. And we certainly don't.
I'm going to give an example of this, which I think will totally hit home for a lot of you guys. So, and a lot of you guys know that I worked with Lace Hair Extensions for fucking ever, like 6 years, right? Like helped build the academy, like helped train people, hire people, filming, you know, all kinds of stuff, new ideas. Like I loved every minute of it. Okay. I've taught so many hair extension classes, and I can tell you guys that it is always the chick that walks in that's got the most extension knowledge and like I do extensions all the time, you know, Miss Queen Bee or whatever, that walks in like she knows everything. She's always on the damn struggle bus, every class, unwilling to learn something new, like unwilling to let go of different habits and things that she's done before. And that's always the not open at all. Like already has I already know what you're about to say attitude. Every single time, that was the person that was always struggling. It honestly was the ones, and it was a reverse, because the newbies, the ones that came into class, you know, and I would always go around the room, and I, you know, kind of like AA style, like, what's your name? Like, how long have you been doing hair? Blah, 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 you know, just so we can kind of get to know each other. And it was always like the girls that had no experience at all that would actually thrive the best, because they were a blank canvas.
Open.
And they were open. They wanted to learn. They were excited about learning. And more so the other one, the one that has, let's say I know 5 methods and I only do this and I don't like to hold my needle that way, all this crap. That was the one that was always the most frustrated, who always had the most tangles in her string, that always had like the wefts slipping all over the place. I mean, it was just, I could guarantee you, based on the introductions, I could know who was going to struggle in my class.
It's just behavior.
Yeah, it is.
You can identify patterns in behavior, and there's patterns in success. And you wanna model success, because there's people who are pretending. There's people that have done what you're looking to do. Model that. But there's also people pretending to do what you want to do. Don't model that
to make money. Yeah.
Yeah. There's
a lot. And really, one of the things that we wanted to touch on today was kind of discussing. Like I was telling Drew, we were talking. And everything that we do on podcasts, if you haven't figured it out by now, is very like relevant, whatever's current, right? Like what's going on in our lives, what's happening in the industry, etc. And I told him, I was like, I want to talk about like hair shows. I want to talk about like the disappointments that I see a lot of, including ourselves, like that we have sometimes when it comes to hair shows, or the type of education that's available for salons, right? And that's kind of like what I want to end with here is like when it comes to being in the right room, when it comes to being, you know, and if you enter a room and you know it's not the right room for you, like don't be afraid to get up and go. You know what I mean? And like reroute. Don't feel obligated to stay if it's completely not at all what you were anticipating. Because and really the reason that we started doing our own events, it wasn't because we wanted to do our own events. It is so time consuming and so expensive. Holy crap. It is so expensive to do
Talk
events.
about putting everything on the line.
Guys,
Go do a big event.
Our last event was, I think it was like 230,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, out, like, holy crap. Amazing. Okay. Absolutely amazing. But if you guys look at our event and you're like, oh my gosh, like they must have made so much money. No, we did not. It is a fulfillment event, and it is literally like every dollar that came in goes to fund that event.
Earned and paid for that all on our own.
Yeah.
So
it's a lot.
It was a lot. It
was stressful for financially.
It's paid off long term.
Oh yeah. Our clients are repeat clients over and over. I mean, we have girls we've been working with for over 5 years, 6 years. I mean, they're amazing. They're at all of our events. They're just living testimony to like the shit that this shit works. It's great. But the events are very expensive. So when I tell you that the reason we started doing events wasn't because we wanted to start doing events, right? Or we were like, oh, we can make money doing events. No, we actually lose money sometimes doing events. But the reason that we do them is because it's so important to us to provide education to the industry, where I've personally been extremely disappointed with a lot of the education in the industry, for salon owners specifically. I'm not knocking independent educators. I think that I can name 20 friends right now that have independent education programs who are killing it, who I think have top-notch color extension education, you name it. But when it comes to business ownership education in our industry, I was extremely disappointed. And that's why we started doing our own events. I wanted people to have community. I wanted people to be able to know that, like, I can do it. I can come here, I can learn stuff, and I can go home and I can implement. And not that you closed your salon, you dragged your whole team to this event, and before you know it, your freaking team is wasted and you're drunk and someone's twerking on an educator and ruined the whole fucking career. You guys might be thinking about the show I'm talking about. It's about to happen, and I'm just like, every year, it's the same shit. I don't even have to go to the show. I could look at the Instagram and it's like I'm there. I know exactly what's going to happen. It's like reading the same or watching the same movie over and over again. It's just it's a fucking waste of time. And some people like to go and do that and waste their time, and that's fine. There's a very specific, there's a very specific group of people. If like you want to party, you think it's cool to get to take shots and get wasted with your team, you're probably not even listening to this podcast. Or if you are, maybe turn it off. But like, most of the time when people like that are going to those events and they're doing those things with their team, typically what I see is there's not a good culture in the salon. There's a huge lack of respect between the team and the owner. The owner's getting friend zoned every single time. And then they have I'm not saying they're not working hard. They are. But then they throw their hands up like, how come everybody leaves? It's like, well, look what you're doing.
Look what you did.
No, I'm not saying that. But look what's happening. Like, look at the series of events that keep happening again and again and again. And it's no wonder that this happens. And trust me, I've made all the mistakes to be able to speak from this side of the fence, because I used to be on the other side of the fence.
Twerking on educators.
No, I didn't do that. I didn't do any of that shit. No, absolutely not. Ew. But I definitely used to drink with my team. I definitely used to take people out for happy hour and stay too long and too late. And guess what? Then you start sharing stuff that they don't even fucking know about or hear about. So if that's you, if you've done that, first of all, know that it's not okay, right? But it's okay. It is what it is. But it doesn't mean that you can't come back from that. You can make a great comeback, right? I did. And you can do that. And I think a lot of times when people, that you go from just being a hairstylist and now you're like, oh shit, I own a salon. But I feel like I brought all my friends to the salon that I just opened, and now I'm not being treated as an owner, right? Nobody, takes me seriously. Nobody shows up for meetings. Nobody, shows up on time. And you've been friend zoned. I'm sorry. That's the truth. You've been friend zoned. And a lot of times it's because you are spending more time being a coworker with your team than you are leading your team. And that's, again, not making you wrong for it. It's normal when you are behind the chair 5, 6, 7 days a week, right? So as you start to work on your business and you're basically spending maybe an equal amount of time leading and owning and running your business as you are being a hairstylist in your business, that completely starts to fade away and the respect rises. Like respect just turns up like crazy. And so that's the thing that I want to empower you guys with today is by getting in the right rooms, right? Now, if you are in a space like this hair show that you guys probably already have figured out what I'm talking about, you're in the space and like you look around and like everyone's doing that, like guess what you're going to go do? You're going to go do the same thing because it's normal in that environment, right? Now, let's say you were to come to one of our events or you were to go to a financial event or you were to just go somewhere and you were to do that at that event. Number one, you probably wouldn't because you'd be the only one doing that, right? And it wouldn't be normal
like
in
a room
that
of really
environment.
like high net worth people looking
Like,
to
you're way less
move
likely to do
money or
that.
do investments or like a room like that. It's very different. People are there for a different reason.
Completely different reason. So
Yeah.
I just want to empower you guys to really step into your role as an owner and a leader of your company, right? I want you to kind of ask yourself this question: Am I a salon owner because I just so happen to own a salon, or am I am I a hairstylist that just so happens to own a salon? Therefore, I'm a salon owner, or am I a salon owner because I own my company, I own the results, good, bad, and ugly. I'm a leader. I take responsibility for what happens in my business. I know that it's my responsibility to lead my team and to lead them to a great place, right? Now they got to want to go, but you have to be, it's two completely different mindsets. It really is. And the other thing that's different about it too is that your action steps look wildly different, and where you're spending your time looks very different, and I just want to empower you guys to step into that role, truly step into it. And it might be something that you've never fully put those shoes on, and maybe you're listening to this, you're like, yeah, like I literally went out with my team last weekend. I felt guilty. I shared a bunch of stuff I probably shouldn't have. Now I'm feeling friend zoned, whatever. It's okay. Like, but just, you should always be going home before your team every single time. Like there's not one thing, like we don't stay out.
Get in, get out. You don't.
Like we're like, bye. Like any time. I mean, and trust me, it is hard sometimes. Like my team's like, no, stay out with us. Come hang out with us. And I'm like, I love y'all, but there's a reason, like to protect our relationship, I gotta go. You know what I mean? And they completely get it and they respect me for it. And I just want to make that the new norm in the beauty industry. Not the, hairstylist that gets wasted and chain smoking and twerking on educators at the pool party. Dude, you can do better. Come on.
We can be better.
Yeah.
So
Let's elevate.
We'll wrap it up there. It's the longest podcast we've ever done. It's 45 minutes.
I'm sorry, I had an Alani before we got here.
No, you just missed the audience. You haven't been in here in 2 weeks. Been
That
me
too.
by myself. I've been getting after it with you guys. So,
Sorry, I've been building brands.
So, thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening.
See you on the next episode.